This episode of the Sports Box is brought to you by Mic'd Up Entertainment and DJ Mike Velarde. For all of your event planning needs, make sure you contact Mike at 609-864-5925 and tell him that you saw him on the Sports Box.
And on the air. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the show that, man, you just can't get enough of even in your sleep. This is the Sports Box, where the only opinion that matters is right here. I am Mike Galetta, a.k.a. Hamilton Mike, along with my smiling partner, Brian, the Ranger at Heart. Brian, how are you today?
You smell that football in the air?
Oh, God. And guess what, Brian? We're doing a special show today, because today we are still in the NFC South, and we are going down to those Carolina Panthers. Wait a minute. That's right. Here he comes, our Carolina guy who we love to death. Let's talk to Monty Fetti Jr. Monty, what's up, my brother?
You know, y'all make me feel special every time I see you.
Monty, I'll tell you what, man. I'll tell you what. We're never getting you off the show. That's a total commitment, man. We're never getting you off the show.
Well, that makes me feel that much better, brother. I really appreciate it.
Boy, where we get our Carolina stuff without Monty? Brian, stat me. Give him Carolina. Let's go.
Carolina Panthers. Last year was a bit of a letdown for the Panthers following their Super Bowl trip in 2015. They finished 6-10. Did not make the playoffs, 4th place in the NFC South. Offensively, they finished 21st through the air, 10th on the ground, which wasn't really that surprising. They averaged 19 between the two. Cam had a bit of a down year, 3,500 yards, 19 touchdowns, 14 picks. Jonathan Stewart led the team on the ground, 824 and 9 touchdowns. Leading receiver, tight end Greg Olsen, no surprise, 80 for 1073, 14 touchdowns. Defensively, the passing defense did not find a way to make up for the loss of Josh Norman. Finished 29th out of 32 teams. Their rushing defense was stellar, finished 6th, averaged out to 21. Their first-round pick, 8th overall, Christian McCaffrey, running back out of Stanford.
Beast.
But the story here, Monty, and we'll talk about McCaffrey in a second. I know you love him. But I think that the story here was Cam Newton. He definitely struggled in 2016. It was his lowest completion percentage in his career. Touchdowns dropped from 35 down to 19. Worst quarterback rating in his career. He didn't even rush that much. His rushing yards fell by half, and his TDs fell from 10 to 5. We know he's the straw that stirs the drink in Carolina. What are you thinking about Cam going into this season?
Going into the season, I'm worried about his health. I'm worried about can they protect him and can they keep Cam healthy? That's the biggest story other than just the new news now. That's been the biggest story all offseason. Is first about the timing of the shoulder injury, about him having to have surgery on the shoulder. Then will he be ready for camp? What Cam will we be getting next year? So to me, if I can get a healthy Cam Newton, I'm a little more confident coming into the season. I know last year was god awful for him, but I think if we can get if they can protect Cam Newton healthy and he can stay healthy, I think that Carolina will be fine. I think they can speak back from this year.
You look about some off-season moves for Carolina. There weren't many this year, but they had released longtime running back Mike Tolbert. And I'm sure you're crushed, Monty, about the resignation of wide receivers coach Ricky Prohl. But in the same sense, they did get a big signing, bringing over Mike Adams from the Colts, 2-year deal, and also one-time Panther Charles Johnson for a one-year contract. Can you say anything about the? Well, actually, they re-signed Jonathan Stewart this year for a 1-year deal. But can you say anything about the Mike Adams and the Charles Johnson moves? Are they really helpful for this team?
I love, for one, I think that Mike Adams and the guy that nobody has mentioned that I think he definitely needs to be brought up when we're talking about the secondary is Captain Wonderland. I love the fact that we went back out and addressed, I feel like the things that we didn't do in 2016, we went back and tried to emulate for 2017 that we did in 2015, which was getting older, and I don't like to say older, getting a lot more experience in that secondary. You went and got a 2-time Pro Bowler, Mike Adams, which is he's a stud. If you all you have to do is put on tape and see this guy's a baller. And then you get a guy who's already been acclimated in your system in Captain Wonderland. I think those two guys are complete steals. And then you compare with Bradbury. Bradbury, I think, is going to be a very good corner. I think he's last year he got trial by fire. but I think this year he'll do a lot better. I think that'll help Darryl Worley along as well. I think Darryl Worley is put maybe another year out between being a decent to good corner. So I love the move that we made for the secondary. Charles Johnson, I'm excited about Charles Johnson. I think pairing him with Julius Peppers, I think that's going to get the most out of Charles Johnson, because now you get the two sack leaders going head for head with each other next year. So I think that's a good move for the CJ part of it. I would have liked us to get another defensive end, to be honest. I would have liked us to go younger for a defensive end. Even with Pep, I would have liked us to go, just get a game changer. Get a guy who you can say he'll be here for the next 5 to 10 years. And I don't think we got that this year. Even with Day Hall that we signed from the other defensive end other than Myles Garrett, I think he'll be a great defensive end. But I still think I would have liked to see us go get another defensive end or a more talented defensive end.
And obviously when you have a down season like this, you're going to have people that kind of they get the axe as a result. And recently, GM Dave Gettleman was let go. He'd been the GM there since 2013, so I guess he might have been the guy that took the fall, for the down season here. But
Right.
you mentioned defensive end. I talk about their draft a little bit. They did get a defensive end in the third round. Deshaun Hall out of Texas A&M. But you look at where they drafted early, Monty. They went offense early and often. They went with Christian McCaffrey 8th overall in the top of that second round, or at least the early part. They took Curtis Samuel, kind of an offensive weapon out of Ohio State, and then they gave Cam some offensive line help with Taylor Moton, guard out of Western Michigan. So, passing defense was really their biggest Achilles heel last year, because even though offensively they weren't overwhelming people, the defense really let them down. What are your thoughts on them going so offense heavy in this draft and not really addressing a lot of those defensive deficiencies that they didn't really have a chance to fill in even last year?
I think we more needed offensive weapons than we did defensive weapons. Because I believe, Luke Kuechly missing 6 games is a lot. And I think that there's so many we are including that Luke did miss 6 games. Regardless of if the season was over with or not. I think he's the heart that keeps that defense pumping. So I think with Luke Kuechly coming back and he's healthy, when you add the few pieces that you needed to the secondary, so I believe that this make the secondary acceptable. Because if you look back at 2013, we aren't known for having an amazing secondary. We're known for that front seven. So you add pieces to the small pieces to the front seven, already good front seven. You get health back in that front seven with Luke Kuechly. I think our defense will be okay. Offensively, I think we definitely needed to address it. We lost Ted Ginn, and to me, he was the only downfield threat we had. On our he's been the only guy for the last 2 seasons. So we needed a guy that could stretch the field. I think Christian McCaffrey was a steal. I think you add and pair him with Cam Newton and Jonathan Stewart, that's going to make that rushing attack that much better. The offensive line, if they can come back and be healthy, if the other Khalil brother, if he can come out and if he can protect Cam Newton, and then like you said, Tyler Moton, if he can come in and if he can contribute somewhat on the offensive line, that I believe our running game will be back potent. Samuel is just, is doing everything guy. You can line him up that running back, you can line him up that slide. I think he will be a great, absolutely great fit for I think that's Ted Ginn 2.0. To be honest, I think he will struggle with drops just because looking at his tape, he catches a lot of the balls with his body. But I think he'll be definitely a big upgrade from Ted Ginn. And we got your guy Sterling Shepard. I think Shepard is going to be a good guy for us. He's from everything I've read, he's a great momentum guy. He's a great team guy, and I believe he's going to make our offense that much better just from the aggressiveness part of it. So I love the moves that we make offensively. When Mike Shule was back there calling the plays, it's hard for me to be ecstatic. So we're going to see.
Well, I wouldn't exactly put Shepard in the Hall of Fame yet, but that's besides the point, coming from an angry Bucs fan. Anyway, so we talk about the offense a little bit. I talk about addition by subtraction. They did get rid of Ted Ginn Jr., but they also brought in McCaffrey, who's a returnable guy who should be a real threat. And being a Bucs fan that I am, I think it's going to be hard to kind of defend him. I'm going to look forward to when the Bucs play the Panthers. That's going to be a dogfight in that game. I think McCaffrey adds a little bit extra for them. But you talk about the offense, McCaffrey, obviously Greg Olsen, and you talk about Kelvin Benjamin on the offensive side. You got to lean on those three in the way of the offense and protect Cam. On the defensive side of the ball, where this team has struggled ever since they've lost their star corner, who do you really rely on? I mean, you could say Kuechly, but the injury side of him you got to watch. Who do you really look for on this defense to step up and say, let's make a difference this year? Who do the Panthers have on defense that they can do that?
Yeah, the two guys that jumped out to me immediately, younger guys, I should say, would be Shaq Thompson and James Bradbury. I think James Bradbury didn't get nowhere near the recognition that he deserved. He missed a few games last year, but the games that he played, especially as the year progressed, he became a legit corner. And I think a lot of guys are overlooking him. Especially when you're drafted in the same class as Jalen Ramsey. Of course, people are going to think Jalen Ramsey is the best corner in that class. I believe James Bradbury definitely is going to prove his worth next year. I think we won't miss Josh Norman this year, and that's definitely what we missed this past season. And Shaq Thompson is, I've been saying it for the last 2 seasons. Shaq Thompson he's going to be Thomas Davis' replacement, and I believe he's going to be Thomas Davis and some. He's just a baller. He's all over the field. We just have to get him on the field. And from everything that I've read, they definitely want to progress Shaq Thompson along in this defense. I definitely believe they're going to acclimate him a lot more. I think they're going to put him on the field more. And, those are the first two guys that jump off just the page for me, because I definitely believe these guys are going to show their worth this offseason, Luke or not. And that's what's exciting about it, because if these guys can get going, and then if you add your Luke Kuechly, your Mario Addison, your Charles Johnson, your Mike Adams, I think that makes that defense just as dangerous as we had in 2015. And it now is just going out there and proving it. And that's the most exciting part about it.
So Kelvin Benjamin returned after missing all of 2015, put up respectable numbers last year, 7 touchdowns, was just short of 1,000 yards, but you're hearing that as we get into training camp that he's kind of arrived semi out of shape. I saw a picture that he looked like an offensive lineman, so he doesn't appear to be...
Or a big fat meatloaf.
Yeah, he doesn't appear to be, at least so far, in the shape that he might need to be in the receivers. They've been giving Cam a lot of help. I'm a Devin Funchess fan myself. Do you see the potential for Benjamin to take a step back after last year, or do you think he can continue the comeback from that season-ending injury and maintain the number one wideout role for this team?
I'm more of a Florida State. I'm a bigger Florida State fan than a Michigan fan. I'm sorry, buddy. So I'm not real sold on Funchess. I really do believe Kelvin Benjamin will come back this year and come back and have an amazing season. I think last year, we were getting a guy that was just, not nervous and comfortable playing on that knee, after sitting here. And I do believe that he needed that kick in the rear end after, he didn't give it all in 2016. And I believe after coming in a little overshaped and after getting the criticism that he got, I believe that is what did it for Kelvin Benjamin. I think he's going to, I have full confidence he's going to come out and, and have a great year. I think, again, he's another one of the guys that he gets overlooked. The year that he had wasn't that bad, especially when you compare him to other guys. If we're going doing it just by numbers, Kelvin Benjamin had a better statistical year than DeAndre Hopkins.
Right.
Now, of course, we're going to say the quarterback play is a big part of that, and I would agree. But if we're going just statistical numbers, Kelvin Benjamin, it definitely wasn't nowhere near as bad as what a lot of people were portraying. So I believe give him another year, to get back fully acclimated. I believe those jitters about his knee will be gone this year. And I've seen recent pictures of him, after the fat shaming thing, and the guy didn't shame. The guy looks huge now, and huge in a good way. I've seen pictures of him when he was overweight, coming into colleges, coming into the pros as well. So I think he's just going to be a naturally bigger guy, but he looks like a monster right now. And if I'm betting on anything, I'm betting more he's going to have a great year than have another bad year.
So Monty, I'll put you on the spot. Last year, Carolina 6-10, struggled mightily last year. Cam got beat around like a rag doll. We both agreed on that. So with the offseason moves that the Panthers made, and all the new draft picks and things to that effect, where do you see your Panthers at this year?
Man, the division is a lot harder this year. So
damn right. I mean, I'm sorry.
You know, I'm definitely looking at the next door neighbors, looking at Tampa and Atlanta, saying we have a fight
Daddy.
this year. So if gun to my head, if I have to say where I think we finish, I'm being optimistic, and I'm going to say 10-6. Yeah, I think 10-6 is definitely doable. I think 10-6 is enough to win the wild card position. It's hard to say you'll win the division when Tampa gets Deshaun Jackson, Deshaun Jackson, and then O.J. Howard over the offseason, and then when you have Atlanta with the top 5 offensive of all time, it's hard to say you're going to win the division with a 12-4 record, But I think it'll be a fight. To me, it all comes down to division play. That's what killed us last year. That's what's going to hurt us this year if we don't play well in our division.
The Bucs got O.J. Howard?
I'm going 10-6.
The Bucs got O.J. Howard? Get out.
Now, here's actually an interesting point for Monty. If you go back to 2012, it seems that in the even years, Carolina underperforms, but in the odd years, it does very, very well. Double-digit wins in 13 and 15. So if that
only on the sports box.
If that holds, this could be a double-digit win year for the Panthers, and Monty might be right. But again,
well, dude, I gave you one better. It seems like Cam Newton, besides his first 2 years, it seemed like he has a good year, bad year, good year, bad year curse. So
Pro Bowl this year. There you go.
So that's anything like what we've seen in the past.
Yeah.
I think we could win the division, But again, when you look at Tampa and what they've done, you look at what Atlanta's done, and even with New Orleans adding pieces to their defense, you now have to look at New Orleans and say, these guys can play offense. It's the defense that was stuck over the last couple of years.
Yeah.
I've been saying it all offseason. We're going to have the hardest division in football. So it's just really a toss-up to me. I think it's all about the division play this year. If Tampa can come out and win 3 to 4 games in the division, they'll take it. And I will go as far to say Tampa can be a serious runner in the playoffs this year.
That's why we love it.
You bring up
it's going to be fun this year, man. I'm probably been more excited about this year than a lot of other seasons before. So, man, this is going to be fun.
Interesting point, though. I mean, again, the division itself, it kind of gets beat up in media circles about, there's always a different division winner. But the last 2 NFC champions have come out of the NFC South.
Yeah.
If you want to talk about Super Bowl hangovers, this might be the most epic Super Bowl hangover anybody's ever seen with Atlanta.
Yeah, don't worry about Atlanta, Monty, because they still got Tom Brady in their head. So I don't know how to recover.
Brother, I want to agree with you. I can't stay. I'm actually staying in Atlanta, and just the fans in there are so fair weather. It's ridiculous.
I believe that.
So trust me, I want Atlanta to fail as much as anybody. But looking across and looking at the talent they have on the roster, looking at how close they were. And yes, I give Atlanta fans hell about the 25-point lead, but to go up 28-3 against New England, it's going to be. I'm a little nervous. I will be honest. Even with them playing New England next year, I'm still saying this Atlanta could be a very good team.
Yeah, we're going to save Atlanta for another show.
Mike, did you know that the Atlanta Falcons had a 28-3 Super Bowl and lost?
Get out!
I can't believe it.
Where is Redbird? Damn it, call in! We have for crying out loud. I want him back on the show. We need him. Anyway, I'm going to leave you with this, Monty. I know Carolina drafted some guys in the offseason. I got a guy here that they drafted in the 5th round that may have a future. Will have a future after football. He's got one of the best adult film names of all time, and that would be Corn Elder of Miami. That's a fabulous. How you name your kid Corn Elder? That's unbelievable. Only here on the Sports Box. So.
Before y'all jump on my back, I never knew who Corn Elder was. So please, Corn, if you ever hear this, don't beat me up.
Pass me the Corn, baby.
2 minutes or 2 looking at his tape, and I'm saying, this guy can start. He's a small guy, but to me, he literally reminds me of Steve Smith playing corner.
Wow.
Small, but run, will hit for the mouth. It will, play man-to-man with anybody. He can definitely guard anybody. The guy's a baller.
Only here do you get.
I'm sorry.
Only here do you get back up on Corn Elder.
That's awesome.
That's amazing.
Stuff.
I love it. Nobody else but the Sports Box. So that's all the time we have. Of course, we want to thank the great Monty Fetti Jr. for getting online and talking a little Panthers football with us. Monty, you are the man when it comes to Carolina Panthers, brother.
Well, fellas, I'm telling you, it's a pleasure every time. I really thank y'all for letting me on, man.
Absolutely. It's your pleasure, of course. And, of course, when anything happens in Carolina, you know we're always going to jump on the horn and get Monty on the horn and give us some feedback of what's going on in Panther Haven. Is that okay, Monty?
As always, brother.
Oh, man, it's just...
One of my favorite calls to make.
It doesn't get any better than this. It's unbelievable. Monty, thank you very much, brother. We appreciate you calling, and we will talk to you soon.
All right, man. Y'all take care.
All right, and listen, make sure you catch us on social media because you can always get us out there if you need to.
Absolutely. We are right in the middle of our NFL season previews for all the 32 teams, so make sure you're checking us out. We're on Twitter and Facebook, both at Sports Box Show. Yep. If you haven't yet subscribed, we ask you to please subscribe to our YouTube channel. Please feel free to comment on our videos. Let us know what you think. Let us know what we're doing well, what we're doing not too well, which probably isn't that much, but let us know anyway. We want to make sure we're giving you what you're looking for.
And if anybody's in the Atlanta area, try to get Redbird back on the show.
I just want to know why this guy ghosted me. He was coming at me hard, the entire playoffs, and then his team blows it big time, and then I hope he's all right.
They lost? Oh, shit.
Did you not know? I hope he's all right.
I must have been a box or something. I don't know. So anyway,
I couldn't look at the game. I was so tired.
And at the Sports Box, don't forget, the only opinion that matters is absolutely right here. Thanks for watching. See you. 1, 2, 3.
Don't forget to subscribe.